Hello there, my sweet friend. Welcome to a very special, incredibly gentle edition of our explainer. Tonight, we're actually doing something a little bit different. We're turning our usual analysis into a slow, peaceful, continuous bedtime story. And hey, rest assured, there are absolutely no scary surprises here tonight, none at all. We're only going to explore peaceful adventures, friendly animals, and soft moonlight. So go ahead and let your eyes grow heavy, let your shoulders relax, and just let every little worry float away like a fluffy cloud.
Okay, so before we visit our quiet forests and gentle rivers, we need to do just a little bit of prep. First, I want you to find your favorite blanket. You know, the one that makes you feel super warm and safe. Got it? Great. Now, fluff your pillow just the way you like it. And finally, let's take one slow, gentle breath in together and slowly breathe out. Very good. Everything is calm and everything is completely safe. Twilight in the Forest, featuring Oliver and the Sleepy Fireflies. Our first quiet adventure begins right at twilight with a curious little rabbit named Oliver. He lived in this tiny wooden cottage with these lovely blue shutters, and his absolute favorite time of day was watching the sky change from a warm gold to a soft purple. Well, one gentle evening, he noticed something glowing right outside his window. Just tiny golden lights floating slowly through the air. He whispered to himself that the sleepy fireflies were there. Smiling, he wrapped his tiny scarf around his neck, quietly stepped outside into the cool evening, and just followed them along a winding forest path. The thing about these fireflies is, they never hurried. They just floated gently from flower to flower, almost whispering to the forest to simply slow down. When Oliver reached a beautiful, soft clearing, the sleepy fireflies all gathered together, and each one just blinked, so slowly. On, off, on, off. And without even realizing it, Oliver actually began breathing in the exact same rhythm. Slowly in, slowly out. It was like the whole forest was breathing together, perfectly at peace. Then a tiny hedgehog named Hazel quietly wandered into the clearing and just asked if she could watch the fireflies with him. So they sat there side by side. They really didn't need many words because they realized that sometimes the kindest friendship is simply sharing a peaceful moment together. They just watched the fireflies glow, feeling so warm and safe, until the oldest firefly gently circled them, silently wishing them sweet dreams before drifting away like a tiny returning star.
Oliver and Hazel walked slowly back home, the moon following them the whole way with its soft silver light. When Oliver climbed into his cozy bed, he remembered that slow blinking. He learned that kindness actually grows when we slow down, enjoy peaceful moments, and share them with good friends. So let's take another slow breath in and out as we quietly get ready for our next adventure.
Moonrise at the river, and Lily and Toby's quiet walk. We travel now to a river, right as the moon rises, where the water flows slowly, humming a sleepy little lullaby. This is where we meet a kind little deer named Lily. One calm evening, the bright moon painted this long silver path right across the water. Lily walked closer and met a tiny turtle named Toby. Now Toby warned her right away that he walks very slowly, but Lily just smiled at him and said, "Tonight, we literally have nowhere to hurry." Eventually, they reached a tiny old wooden bridge where the moonlight was just resting gently across the boards. Lily stepped onto it very slowly. Step, step, step. And Toby followed right behind her. Step, step, step. They stopped right in the middle, looking at the shimmering water and the glowing fireflies, just completely wrapped in calm. While they were on that bridge, they were joined by a gentle owl named Willow, who simply asked if they wanted to count shooting stars. So they all sat in this incredibly comfortable silence as tiny streaks of light glided across the sky. Lily closed her eyes and made a simple, beautiful wish out loud. "I hope everyone has a peaceful night's sleep." The peaceful sounds of the wind and the river wrapped around them like a warm blanket. It was so cozy that Toby gave a tiny yawn, and they just knew bedtime was calling. They slowly crossed back over the bridge, really enjoying each quiet step, never rushing each other. And when Lily curled up on her soft bed of moss later, she thought about those quiet rivers and the silver moonlight. She knew that kindness means walking together at a pace that helps everyone feel comfortable, peaceful, and cared for. So let's take another slow, deep breath in and gently breathe out. The quiet night is still all around us. Deep night by the water, with Bella and the little lantern boat. Our journey continues into the deep night by the water. In a quiet little village, there was a sweet baby deer named Bella who loved watching the river ripples dance. Soon she was joined by Henry, this cheerful little hedgehog who was carrying a woven basket full of soft flower petals. Together, they decided to make a little lantern boat. Why? Well, because as Henry's grandmother always said, the river absolutely loves little floating lights right before bedtime. Let's just follow this peaceful journey for a moment. At dusk, they gathered a smooth leaf, folded it into a tiny boat, and filled it with those soft petals. Then, in the evening, a friendly firefly named Flick stepped gently inside, and his golden light made all the petals shimmer. By nightfall, they placed the boat onto the smooth, glass-like water. It drifted without rushing at all, just floating right past smiling squirrels and an old owl named Olive. And finally, as midnight approached, the little boat disappeared safely around the river bend. As they watched the glowing boat float away, Olive the owl shared some really gentle wisdom. She said, "Sometimes the smallest light can make the whole evening feel brighter." And nobody hurried to say anything else after that. The quiet just felt perfectly comfortable. The soft water, the gentle breeze, and Henry's quiet footsteps, it all blended together into one beautiful bedtime lullaby. Bella walked home as the moon climbed higher, and all the cottage windows glowed with this warm, inviting light. She curled up beneath her blanket, just imagining that little lantern boat still floating gracefully beneath the stars, carrying kindness wherever it went. She realized then that kindness is really just a small act that brightens someone's evening, exactly like a tiny lantern on a quiet river. Starlight in the Garden, featuring Rosie's Whispering Flowers. For our final story tonight, we step right into the starlight in a tiny flower garden. Here, a little rabbit named Rosie was gently watering her flowers beneath the soft moonlight. She was soon joined by a tiny red fox named Finn, who was just marveling at the beautiful blossoms. As they walked along the stone path, taking in the sweet smells of lavender and daisies, they came across Oliver, a young bear. He was quietly watching a sleeping butterfly, keeping his heart so quiet just so the tiny creature would feel perfectly safe. Then a wise little owl named Hazel glided down as the crickets started their gentle nighttime song. Dozens of fireflies floated into the garden to help all the flowers say goodnight. Hazel suggested they all make one kind wish, so they did. Rosie wished for happy dreams. Finn wished for peaceful forests. Oliver wished for safe and loved children, and Hazel wished for gentle hearts filled with kindness. The fireflies blinked softly, almost as if they had listened to every single wish. One by one, the flowers slowly folded their petals for the night. The garden grew even quieter. I want you to breathe along with the glowing fireflies now. Bright, soft. Bright, soft. The friends all shared warm smiles before heading home to their cozy beds, feeling light, feeling cozy, and completely ready for the sweetest dreams. As Rosie closed her eyes, remembering the smiling flowers and the quiet friendship she just shared, she understood that kindness grows quietly, just like those little flowers. When we share gentle hearts and peaceful moments, everyone feels safe, happy, and loved. The flowers are sleeping now, the stars are shining, and the night is completely peaceful. Let's softly remember our journey together as your eyes grow heavier. We started at twilight, breathing with Oliver the rabbit and the fireflies. At moonrise, we took slow, deliberate steps with Lily the deer. In the deep night, we floated a lantern boat with Bella. And finally, under the starlight, we made gentle wishes in Rosie's whispering garden. Our journey through the woodland tonight is beautifully complete. Thank you so much for joining tonight's very special, gentle explainer journey. Now just listen to the sound of my voice. If your eyes are already closed, keep them closed. Take one slow, deep breath. You are safe, you are loved, you are peaceful. And as you drift entirely into sleep, I want to leave you with this softly provocative thought to carry right into your dreams. What small, quiet act of kindness will your gentle heart share tomorrow? The stars are still shining, the river is still singing. Good night, sweet dreams, see you tomorrow.